Welcome to EF's 9th demo day in London, 11th overall. My name is Matt Clifford. I'm one of EF's founders, and if you're wondering, where is the better co-founder, the one that we come for, Alice is unfortunately on her honeymoon and so can't make it today. But I think she might, being Alice, be watching on the live stream. So hello, Alice, and while we're saying hello to the live stream, hello, Singapore. Singapore have actually, there's so much demand to watch the EF demo day live stream in Singapore, they've rented out a cinema to watch it in Singapore. I think there's 180 people watching it in a cinema in Singapore. So hello, Singapore, and hello, Berlin. And hello, the other 1,000 people around the world watching it. It's great to be here. So today is about the 19 companies that are going to present. And we cannot wait for you to see them, and they cannot wait to tell you what they've been doing over the last 6 months. And they are, as I say, the 9th cohort, EF9. Please do tweet today. We have a very simple hashtag for the EF8 demo day. We used this, and it turned out there was a major, very dull conference going on in somewhere else in the world with the EF8 hashtag, but you can use EF9 today, so that's absolutely fine. It's great to see so many familiar faces here, but I know there's also about 100 people who've never been to an EF demo day here before, and so I do want to start, as is traditional, by explaining a little bit about what makes EF different. So the first and most important thing to say is that EF is not an accelerator. The 19 companies that you see today did not join us as companies. Instead, the founders that you see today joined us as individuals, and they built their companies from scratch over the last 6 months. So why do we do that? Why have we taken this approach of going individual first, talent first? Well, the answer is that we started this company with this thesis, that the world is missing out on some of its best founders. What do we mean by that? Well, we believe that the next generation of breakout companies are going to be disproportionately deep technology companies, companies building real technology to solve big problems. But the interesting thing about deep technology is that there's only a handful of people in the world, maybe a few thousand people, who actually have the skills and the backgrounds to build this kind of company. And the challenge is that for many of those people, starting a company isn't an obvious step forward. In many parts of the world, in many institutions, in many companies, it's not obvious how you would get started. It's not obvious where you would find a world-class co-founder. It's not even obvious what your background and skills should lead you to work on. And so what Entrepreneur First does is it finds these people who we think will be extraordinary founders, people with exceptional backgrounds, usually in deep technology or in some domain that is about to be disrupted by deep technology. We find these people before they have a company and then take them through a 6-month journey of company building, creating an environment in which they're enabled to find a world-class co-founder from within that group, and most importantly, to build the most ambitious thing that they can think of, not just follow the path of least resistance. And what we think is really special about this approach is that it means that when you see the people today and you see what they're working on and you hear about their backgrounds, they will sound like the most qualified people in the world to do what they're doing. And that's because we think that they are. We've been doing this now in London for 6 years. This is our 9th demo day, as I said. And we're at a point where we've discovered that, fortunately, this is not the only place in the world where this is a problem. And this is not the only place in the world where you can build world-class companies by following this approach. In fact, this is a global mission. When I say that there's a few thousand people in the world who can build companies like this, what we're increasingly discovering is that those few thousand people are distributed all across the world. 2 years ago, we opened up an office in Singapore. And I think a lot of people were a little bit skeptical about whether we would find world-class deep technology talent in Singapore. And I like to think the last 2 years have resoundingly shown that actually it's there in abundance. We're now into our 3rd cohort in Singapore. We've had over 200 individuals go through the Singapore program. And we're seeing funding rates in Singapore absolutely smashing through the records that we've set in London. 6 months ago, when I stood here and introduced Demo Day, we had a big announcement. We announced that we'd raised $12.5 million from Reid Hoffman and Greylock Partners and other world-leading investors to grow our own operations. We said that that money wasn't going to go into the companies that you see, but it was going to go into taking EF global. And then 8 weeks ago, we announced the first step in doing that. We announced EF Berlin. EF Berlin, as I say, opened 8 weeks ago. And 8 weeks later, we have a full cohort. The cohort will start a week on Monday. And thanks to Zephy and the team there, we're really excited about the extraordinary companies that are going to be built in Berlin. If you're thinking, gosh, well, that's a long way to go to see them, don't worry. The EF Berlin companies will be presenting at the EF Europe Demo Day, as it will be renamed in 6 months' time. Going to Berlin and finding that in 8 weeks we could find 50 extraordinary individuals has emboldened us. And so we're excited to make another announcement today. Today we launch EF Hong Kong. EF Hong Kong starts on Monday. And EF Hong Kong will take exactly the same approach as we've taken in Berlin. We want to find 50 extraordinary individuals and help them go on this same journey of finding a world-class co-founder and building something globally ambitious. So they will be starting that journey very soon. We're really excited about the world-leading universities that we've seen there, about the burgeoning venture ecosystem, and the fact that Hong Kong, like London, like Singapore, like Berlin, is already a magnet for international talent. And so in exactly the same way as the Berlin teams will feed into the new EF Europe Demo Day, in the same way the teams that form in Hong Kong will pitch at EF Asia Demo Day in January of next year. If you want to go to that, just let us know and we'll make sure you're added to the list. So it's a very exciting moment for EF, and we'll have more announcements. We now have a slight tradition of making major announcements at Demo Day, and so it's keeping us on our toes, and we'll think of something for next time. You're here to see the companies, and there is not much more for me to say, but I do want to say some important thank yous. Hopefully it goes without saying that to support founders like these on their journey requires an amazing team, and our team have really pulled out all the stops for this day. It represents not just 6 months of hard work, but in some cases years of hard work. Some of the people that you see pitched today are people that our talent team met years ago. So huge thank you to Sonia and the rest of our talent team for all the work in finding those people. Huge thanks to Alex Diaz, our director in London, who's run an amazing program with the rest of the team here. Huge thanks to our venture partners who are key to the whole process. So that's Michael and Toby and Tim and Nadav and Chris. And thank you to the broader EF team that make everything possible. We're really, really excited about what you see today, and it really is down to all their hard work. Also, thank you to our corporate partners who continue to play a huge role in enabling what we do. Thank you to VITRUVIAN. It's really exciting to have followed the VITRUVIAN journey over the last few years, and I think it's a hugely beneficial thing to the ecosystem in Europe and beyond to have a 2.4 billion euro fund focused on high-growth, innovative companies at that later stage. Also, the Telegraph, who have become a key part of our company building process. All the people that join EF have a chance to engage senior execs at the Telegraph right from before they even start company. And we're now seeing huge results from this, where you'll hear the Telegraph mentioned a couple of times in the pitches today, but also with our alumni companies working with the Telegraph and its ecosystem as they build out their companies. But that is enough for me. I'm about to bring on EF9. Please do tweet, please do talk about them. I keep saying Twitter, I assume that's still cool. I don't think they've had any data breaches this week, but you can snap it or Instagram it or whatever it is that the cool kids do these days. But without further ado, I am delighted to welcome to the stage Jesse and Papercup. Thank you.